Right now, the UK motorcycle market looks like it's heading for a cliff edge. Sales are down, dealers are worried, and even the industry itself is urgently asking for help. But is British motorcycling actually dying? Or is there something more complicated going on? So I'm Jack, this is Jack Talks Bikes, and today I'm going to be breaking this all down piece by piece. And I promise, what I'm about to share with you isn't quite the doom and gloom headlines that you might be expecting. So is riding in the UK really dying? Let's start with the numbers that people are talking about, all those headline figures that we're seeing being reported. Across 2025, here in the UK, so just last year, the motorcycle market saw a significant drop in new bike registrations, with June figures down almost 19% compared to last year. Now this is a shocking downturn, especially at a time of year where you'd probably expect more new bikes to be registered because, well, this is peak UK summertime. And it's not just this 1 month that was a shock. Earlier in the year, there was a 30% drop in January and a 32% drop in February, and so on and so forth. It's not just petrol bikes that seem to be on the decline either. Probably unsurprisingly to most petrol heads and bike enthusiasts out there, even electric bikes are seeing a decline in registrations. And dealers are saying this isn't just a normal slump. They're calling on the government to step in and support the sector because they feel like they're just being forgotten about. At this point, if I hadn't have looked into the data myself, I might have actually started to believe that the industry really was on life support. Now, talking of life support, we'll get this out of the way quickly. It's a really terrible segue. If you want to avoid a heart attack by coming back to find your bike has been stolen, I told you it was a terrible segue, let me introduce you to this week's video sponsor, Lightlock. Now, if you ride a motorbike here in the UK, you'll know that theft is a real problem. And Lightlock is one of the few locks that's actually designed to slow thieves down and make them move on to another target. Their locks are angle grinder resistant, sold secure rated, and unlike massive chains and stuff, they're small enough to actually fit and carry on your bike in things like backpacks and in some cases under the seat. And I've even seen people strap them to the rear seats. It's the sort of security that makes thieves think twice, or ideally move on to an easier target. I've done a whole video about them and their locks, and you can watch it by clicking the pop-up banner that's appearing at the top of the screen right now. And I've also put an affiliate link in the description below. If you use it, I'll earn a small amount of commission. It doesn't cost you a single penny extra, but it does help support the channel. Right, anyway, that's enough about Lightlock and me advertising. Let's get back to the video. Here's where the narrative starts to twist, because while new registrations have really struggled, if you look at the total number of motorbikes here on the UK roads over the last decade, it's grown significantly. Ownership isn't collapsing. It's actually higher than it was 10 years ago by some 10% actually. Now that on its own tells us something really important. Riders aren't disappearing, but their buying behaviours might be changing a little bit. Why does it feel like the industry is struggling? Well, this is the part of the video where the feel-good numbers start to diverge from the felt reality of riders and what the headlines might be telling us. As you all know, motorcycles are largely a discretionary purchase. They're not an essential, they're a luxury item. And with things like the cost of living pressure being quite high at the moment, people are simply being more cautious. They're delaying buying that shiny new motorcycle rather than kind of rushing into it blind and treating themselves to something luxurious or seen as a bit unnecessary. And even when people want to get onto the bikes, well, getting started isn't just a very simple route to go down when it comes to things like getting your license. It's expensive, it's complicated, and headlines will tell you as well that there's a shortage of instructors and limited test slots, which creates a bit of a bottleneck for new riders to get onto bikes. Demand hasn't vanished entirely, it's just stalled a little bit and struggling to move forward. And then there's the whole insurance thing as well, arguably one of the largest perceived barriers for new riders. Even used bikes can cost much more to cover than some new 125s cost to buy. So with that all said then, the real twist is that the motorcycle market isn't collapsing in itself, it's just evolving. And when you look closely, certain segments are actually growing. Take small CC bikes, for instance, like the commuter bikes, like scooters and 400cc city bikes. The sort of 50cc twist and goes, 125s, and like I say, 400cc's are perfect for commuters. These bikes haven't collapsed like bigger machines. Some of them have even seen bigger uptakes in specific months. That's probably why Triumph have doubled down on the 400cc line of bikes that they offer with the new Thruxton 400 and Tracker 400. And if you want to find out a bit more about those bikes, by the way, you can do by clicking the pop-up banner at the top of the screen where I dive into a bit of specs detail about those two bikes. Anyway, that all tracks with what I'm seeing on the road. More commuters, more young riders thinking practically instead of weekend toy, and more urban commuters using bikes to beat traffic and beat the rising cost of commuting via car. And funnier still, adventure bikes and sport bike segment, for example, which you may declare dead, has shown growth in the last few months. So what can we actually do? Because, well, if the industry is changing, that means surely there's going to be some levers that we can all pull as a community to make it thrive. One of the biggest levers, in my opinion, is pushing for a reform on training and the access model we have here. Fixing the instructor shortage is one step, and then the next is to modernise testing routes and the infrastructure behind that. I think that's going to have a huge impact on getting more people onto bikes, because once you get rid of the bottleneck, more riders will actually start getting into bikes and the demand will increase. Then there's the opportunity to start marketing motorcycles properly as a viable mode of transport. Bikes are seen in the media and by many other people, like I've mentioned before, as a luxury item, kind of a weekend toy. But in reality, they are a serious form of practical transport in many cases. They're often cheaper to buy, cheaper to tax, cheaper to insure, cheaper to run than a car. And they cut down on traffic jams, and they're proven to have countless mental and physical health benefits for individuals, just so long as you don't get yourself knocked off. Bikes are not just a weekend toy. It would be great to see them marketed seriously as a form of practical transport in urban environments to try and cut down on all of those kind of issues we have with traffic jams and roads just being chock full of cars with one person in them on the way to work. So what's really happening then? Why are we seeing all these shocking headlines about the motorcycle industry really struggling? Well, like I've said, the UK motorcycle industry isn't on its deathbed. It's just under pressure, a lot of pressure, from the economy, from regulations, and from shifting consumer behaviours. This isn't going to be an obituary video. It's a pivot point in time. And if riders and dealers and policymakers actually do the work, there is a future in biking. Now, if this video made you think differently about the UK motorcycle industry, then hit that like button and try and hype the video as well if you can. I really would appreciate it. I've also launched my membership packages starting from just 99p. I'll be doing monthly content throughout 2026, including exclusive videos and blogs over on my soon-to-be-launched website for exclusive member access only. And if you've not done so already, please do hit that subscribe button. You can do it by clicking my face over there or clicking the button below. And if you're new here and wondering who I am, why I'm talking about bikes, then click this video over here to find out what the channel's all about and why I got into biking. Thank you very much for watching, and whatever you're up to for the rest of the day, I really do hope you have a good one, and hopefully I get to see you in the next one.